President Bush said that he will leave Washington next week with a great sense of accomplishment. Do you feel the same way?
I do. Make mistakes. I can think of places where I underestimated things. 9/11, for example, the extent to which the Iraqi population had been beaten down by Saddam Hussein. We've had a significant impact. 9/11, and the one that stands out in my mind that I think is most important is something that didn't happen, and fly an airliner into the tallest building on the West Coast, plans to develop a so-called dirty device to hijack aircraft. We got a wealth of information from those programs that are the source of some controversy, obviously. We thought that the Iraqis would be able to bounce back fairly quickly. It took longer than I expected. I would look for one where there was a miscalculation on my part. I think I underestimated the difficulty of getting an Iraqi government stood up. 9/11.
Is it fair to say then that the miscalculation resulted in the chaotic situation that existed immediately after?
I can't say that. I can't link those two particular points. But it was successful. We now find ourselves in a situation where 5 years later, we've achieved most of the objectives that you would have set out in the spring of '03. You could not have asked for much more than that.
Getting from there to here, 4,500 Americans have died, at least 100,000 Iraqis have died. Has it been worth that?
I think so. Saddam Hussein, especially in the aftermath of 9/11, he did have a relationship with Al-Qaeda. Now, we've had this debate. There's a relationship there. This was a terror-sponsoring state, weapons of mass destruction. I think we did exactly the right thing. Major, major accomplishments.
Considered a miscalculation to have gone into Iraq before Osama bin Laden had been found in Afghanistan?
I don't.
You have been, in fact, the most powerful vice president in history, but in one of the most failed presidencies in history.
I don't buy that. We dealt with big issues. We didn't deal with school uniforms. We've been very successful at it. Great successes, and I think there aren't very many administrations that can point to successes on that scale.
The economy, the economic downturn, why was it not a miscalculation or a failure to see that coming?
No, I don't think it was a miscalculation. As I look at it, I think we've been successful. Did you see it coming, Jim? You're an expert.
You don't accept any responsibility on the economic.
I don't think we caused the economic downturn. No. Over time, I expect that history will judge this administration in a fairly favorable light.
Disapproval of an overwhelming majority of the American people, does that work?
That's what elections are for. The easy thing to do is, well, let's not do terror surveillance. Let's not have a robust interrogation program. Let's not take aggressive action to defend the nation, which is more important, in my opinion, than being loved.
To be leaving office next week with the overwhelming disapproval of the majority of the people as measured by the polls.
Well,
that doesn't bother you personally?
I don't buy that. Just cocktail party talk.
Somehow you changed dramatically, significantly. Is that correct?
Well, I'm older. It was 9/11. Some people can say, gee, Cheney changed. No, I think circumstances changed.
I think someone should acknowledge that mistakes were made and take responsibility for it, end quote. You agree with her?
I can't claim perfection. What I can say is that in terms of what the policies of the administration were, both at the White House level and in the Defense Department, was that enhanced interrogation was okay. We don't torture. It was not the policy of this administration.
Nothing happened that you feel was over the line, or that you feel that was a miscalculation, a mistake of some kind?
In terms of the treatment of a specific individual, I can't say that. We had Abu Ghraib, for example. Some military personnel who were improperly supervised, weren't given the right kind of guidance, weren't managed properly. You know, I ran the Pentagon.
And you're personally very comfortable with that?
I am. I can tell you it produced phenomenal results for us. Jim, I had my first heart attack before I ever ran for office.
Finally, did you enjoy being Vice President of the United States?
I loved it.